Hey there folks, rinimt here, and welcome back to Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. In the last part, we were starting up the trial after the body vanished, and then we found it, and yeah. Anyways, it is my distinct honor to welcome the Siren of the Ballad to our courtroom. You are too kind. You can speak English? Yes I can. Though I am not very good, there is much I do not know. You speak so well. Have you spent some time here before? Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor where I studied it. What does she mean? She doesn't know. So it's been a few days since I've recorded, so some of my voices might be a little different because I don't remember them. Anyway, I too thought to call her as witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course. What's that? Lamiroir suffers from amnesia. Amnesia? Lamiroir is not my true name. Yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage. Whoa, she's even more mysterious than I thought. As a lauded singer Lamiroir, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her thanks to her success. Yet, I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress. I see. I care surprisingly little about people's past. You have nothing to fear in this court, Lamiroir. Thank you. But there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what's happened. Lamiroir, let me be frank. I did not wish to ask you up here to testify. Yet the young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you should stand. Oh my! Congratulations, Apollo! You're the bad guy! Ugh. Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime. What I saw? As for what I saw nothing. One night, I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details. So where were you? I must say you sound wonderful just testifying. I hope he was too distracted to hear what she is actually saying. He was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying. There you have it. She saw nothing that night, and now we can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat and refrain from detaining her here longer than need be. Wow, you just got better, Apollo. Way to go. Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet. Lamiroir wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. You must know something, and I've got to find out what. What I saw. Alright, we're pressing her. But you must have seen something. Mr. Letus named you. Mr. Letus? How can I tell you what I don't know? Lamiroir, he said you were a witness with his dying words. I do not know what he meant to say, but that night... At night I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. It was a great concert. You heard me sing. Thank you. I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually. Of course. Mr. Justice, this is a cross-examination. You're out of line. If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. One on my gavel would be nice. Oh, Judge. What's this? It's my autograph. Now keep this trial moving. What? Oh, my crown child will be so happy. Well, his grandson is a big fan. Let us continue, shall we? If you would, Lamiroir. Tell us what you did after your stellar performance. I did not return backstage after the second set. You did not return backstage once? Where were you then? What were you doing? I was cleaning up on stage. There are many things I must do for a performance other than simply sing. And was Maki with you at the time? Unfortunately, I do not know where he was. Much for an alibi for Maki! I was led by the police and told to wait.
With Maki, correct? How was he then?
He seemed as he always does, though I believe he was shocked by the news of Mr. Letus's death. Yet he has not had to show much emotion.
Yes, he's given the police no end of headaches. He answers most questions with silence, and those glinting frames speak of nothing.
Questioning hasn't gotten very far. We sat there, waiting. I just want to learn something had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
How was the incident explained to you?
I was told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Letus died.
Of course, investigations require some security.
But Mr. Letus was my manager. I wanted to know more. I should have been told. But Lucky and I were beside ourselves with concern.
Allow me to apologize, but please understand. Keeping you in the dark was as painful for me as it was for you.
Yes, I understand. Think, what doesn't ring true about her testimony? It's hard to imagine Lamiroir lying. And she might not be lying, but she's hiding something. Wouldn't she tell me the night of the murder? Oh gosh. I'm backstage, I was second set. There's like a crime scene. I'm gonna try the brooch. I found it backstage. The only thing I can think of is I think I already examined it, yeah.
Objection!
Well, there's something. I'm sorry, Lamiroir, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch? Do you know? Why, that's Lamiroir. She was wearing it for her song.
Try to add to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin.
What?
This brooch was found after the murder took place, at the very scene of the crime.
What?
Lamiroir, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And, as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you have been wearing it during your performance that night.
What is the meaning of this? Lamiroir, please explain.
Lamiroir?
She says English is quite difficult. Oh, that trick's not gonna work here! Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact. What now?
In fact, at the time of the incident,
I went backstage, but only for a moment. What? Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak.
Is she really saying all that? What's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. Ah! Is she talking about that?
Watch this room for me. I have to call backup.
Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right?
So Letus, can you hear me?
Cold. So cold. Witness.
You're cold. Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Help is on the way.
But witness is Siren.
Siren?
How can a Siren witness anything?
Yes! Emma!
What was that?
Who's there?
What's wrong? Emma, did you see anyone just now?
Huh? No?
I was sworn I heard a door close. I looked into the room. Just a glance, my dear.
This is when your brooch dropped.
That explains that. Does. There was no other time I could have dropped it.
That's ridiculous! You only looked in for an instant, but you dropped your brooch. Forehead.
She has raised a possibility. The only thing that can counter that is evidence.
So she looked in at the crime scene.
Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice.
Forehead shouting, "Who's there?" No doubt. A horrible voice indeed. Ugh.
I closed the door immediately.
Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony.
That's too convenient. She's hiding something.
Lamiroir, you did look into the room though, right?
Yes.
Testify as to what you saw.
Oh, very well. It was only the briefest of glimpses. Once finished, I went backstage for just a moment. Oh, we can proceed. Oh, nothing. And I looked up by the police dressing room and told to wait there. I didn't have any full details. So it's something when she moves. Yeah, okay, so it's in these two lines because that's when she's like looking to the side. Can I see her hands? No. Here again. Would not be here. Sure. Stop. Try this one. These two. Captain's dressing room. And told to wait there. I feel like it's in these two. Okay, when she says Mr. Latus's body, her mouth is like not moving.
Gotcha!
You may have seen the world, but I've seen your heart. You were flustered during your testimony just now. I do not understand what it is you are saying. Perhaps this is a joke in your culture? Doesn't seem very flustered to me, Apollo. Maybe I got that one wrong? Look harder. I'll find that weak spot. Was it? Oh, it's just like she stops. Her mouth stops moving for that part. Oh yeah, she's like swallowing right there. Yeah, like I said, it was something with that. I just had the wrong part. The late Mr. Latus's body, you say? Yes? You know something more about Mr. Latus's death than you are saying. What? I could see you trying not to remember. The effort made you swallow. You can't fool my ass. It is true. It was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Latus have to be shot? One moment, Lamiroir. Yes? What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Latus have to be shot? Yes? She was hiding something. I knew it. Lamiroir, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony. How could that be? Take this. Lamiroir contradicted her own testimony. I have the evidence to prove it. Is it the thing? Like, how could she have seen it?
Take that!
The picture? If I do not misunderstand the meaning of contradiction, it is you who contradict, Mr. Justice. Huh? Your evidence is meaningless. No! Wrong evidence. I'll think this over. What did she say again? Why did he have to be shot? Right. That totally contradicts her testimony. Take this. One testimony, I have the evidence to prove it. I've seen it. Unless it is the revolver. Only thing I can think of. Otherwise.
Take that!
No.
The brooch?
Take that!
Not the brooch. The
Take
investigation
that!
report? Tell me, Lamiroir. How did he know he had been shot?
Oh,
Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is a document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, and no one told me anything about the incident. Ah! Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Letus had been shot. How could you have known? Yuck! Lamiroir, you aren't hiding something from this court, I hope. That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet. Ah, now I remember. Please allow me to add to my testimony. Of course. All we want to know is the truth. She looks a little pale, huh? She saw something, I know it. Even the victim said so. I saw bullet holes in the wall, so I knew Mr. Letus had been shot.
Hold it!
Only a glimpse, yet you knew they were bullet holes. Yes, I recognized them immediately. I have seen bullet holes before, you know? You have traveled the world as a singer. You must have sung in places far more dangerous than our country. However, my voice is needed. Those places are many these days. That's really cool. I hope I get to travel like Lamiroir someday. I plan on recording my next album overseas. Their studios have a different sound, you know? Maybe I should go on a Courts of Steel tour too. I was led by the police, told it right there. That's when I learned something happened. That wasn't with the details.
Hold it!
How was the incident explained to you? Told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Letus died. My manager wanted more. Okay, let me... It doesn't... What did she tell me? Just went backstage for just a moment, saw bullet holes in the wall, and knew that Mr. Letus had been shot. Anything I present is gonna like...
Objection!
The thing? Lamiroir, they call you the Siren of the ballad. But lies are hardly becoming of such a creature. Put down worthy of our prosecutor, Mr. Justice. Such footnotes are hardly becoming of you, Apollo. Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, y'all. Come on, keep it be cool for once. Observe the diagram. Lamiroir, you looked in from the door for just a moment. Oh, because it opens that way. Right, yeah. Correct? Yes, that is so. There were bullet holes in the room. Yes. But they were in the wall the door is on. Yeah. You see, assuming you merely glanced into the room, you couldn't have seen those bullet holes. Yeah! Lamiroir? Yes? I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you have been holding back something. I must tell you what it is I saw? Yes, that the happenings in this trial are being recorded. I'm certain it will be on the news in Borginia. You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid punishing it. Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing. But she knew how Mr. Letus died, and he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, Lamiroir. Very well. Lamiroir, please continue your testimony. Very well, I shall. Oh, witness testimony. New one. What I saw, too. I was on my way from the backstage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there, and that's how I saw it. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Maki. It was a grown person. I know it was. So you did witness the crime, and the killer was a grown person, you say? This is my first time hearing this, I assure you. Nice play, Air Forehead. Very well, Mr. Justice, you may begin your cross-examination. Where are you going, Apollo? You were right about Lamiroir. What's wrong? You don't look too happy. The thing smells fishy. That's what's wrong? Huh? I saw 2. My way from the stage to the backstage exit. Oh god, something in my eye. You were heading toward the dressing room. Yes. This is a little before she opened the dressing room door and dropped her brooch. About the same time Emma and I heard those shots. I was on my way back. There was something like a little window there, that's how I saw it. What exactly is something like a little window? Yes, well, window is the best word I know in English. I think this is how it is said, yes? You need not worry, Lamiroir, your choice of words is impeccable. There is a small window in the dressing room in question. Perhaps the defense remembers this detail. A little window on the wall. I saw the crack from there. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. You are certain you heard 2 shots fired? Yes, quite certain. I was on my way to the backstage exit. This was when I heard a faint sound, like a gunshot. Wondering what it had been, I peered through the window. That's when I heard the second gunshot, much closer. And there were 2 bullet holes at the scene. No contradiction so far. It all happened on the other side of that window. There was nothing I could do. It wasn't Maki. It wasn't Maki who shot. Are you sure? Yes, quite certain. It amuses me that you would question her testimony. It is testimony in your favor. Is it my job to object? Yeah, Apollo, what were you thinking? Tracy, let's just listen to what Lamiroir has to say. Can you tell me how you were so sure? Yes, of course. You see... It was a grown person. I know it was. Object. A grown person. That's a little vague. I am sorry. My skill with your language is lacking, I know. Certainly you could at least see whether the shooter was male or female. It was a man. A young man. And you're sure of that? Yes, his voice was quite clear. Voice? Looking at this diagram, it seems the dressing room was quite cluttered. It does seem that likely that you wouldn't have had a clear view of the shooter. As a singer, I rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I heard a voice, I hear a voice, I do not forget it. That voice was the voice of a man. They heard a voice, but wait. Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Letus? Absolutely not. Did I not just say that I do not forget the voice? It was Mr. Letus who spoke. I would have known. Indeed. You were at the window and you heard the shooter's voice. The sound of a young man. Hello! This is a good testimony. That proves it wasn't Maki. Indeed. If this turns out to be true, it would cast this case in a considerably different light. What is the defense's opinion of this testimony? Contradictory. Though it pains me to say this, there's something about Lamiroir's testimony that rings false. Bravo, Air Forehead. You're colder than I thought. Sure you remember what the problem is as well as I do, Gavin. As has been established, no grown man could pass through that air vent. He couldn't have fled the scene of the crime. But that means Lamiroir has to be lying! I know, and I know it's bad for our case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. Maybe the idea was tempting. It is as Air Forehead says, yet this is not the only contradiction within her testimony. What next? What's he talking about? Lamiroir, I understand why you would want to protect Maki. You remember, you are the Siren of the ballad, and lies do not become such a creature. What does the prosecution mean? Apollo, what's he talking about? No one bats an eye when he says stuff like that. I recall the state of the crime scene quite well. The state of the room. Yes, and when the murder took place, the window was closed. I found it hard to believe you could hear a voice through it. What? But, I am sure. Lamiroir, I have nothing but the highest regard for your musical sense. But my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lesser.
Objection!
But she's the only eyewitness we have.
Objection!
So you say. And the victim named her the Siren as the witness? That's right. That's what Mr. Letus. We heard your claim. We even entertained the possibility, and it brought us to this. Oh, Judge? Yes? Prosecution request that the witness be excused. Please. Afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. There's indeed a question of the witness's credibility. If Lamiroir can't testify, then we don't have a chance of proving Maki's innocence. This cross-examination is over. Prosecutor Gavin, you may continue making your case. Danke. Now, where were we? Ah, yes, I would like to hear from Fräulein Detective again.
Objection!
Wait, let me hear Lamiroir's testimony one last time. Cross-examination is already over, until such time as a need arises. This witness may leave the stand. I'm sorry, I could not be of more assistance. At last, back to the real trial. Ready, air forehead. I hope I didn't just miss my only chance. Fräulein Detective, how far had we gotten until we were rudely interrupted? Don't ask me. I dislike saying the same thing twice, and I never repeat a song or an encore. If you would, Miss Sky. I believe I was saying that the only way Mr. Letus's killer could have escaped was through that air vent on the ceiling. Yes, there was only one door in the room, and the witness, you, was standing in front of it. The air vent isn't very big, see? Kind of limits the people who could possibly get through. I certainly would have a difficult time. Yes, well, sure would. Not that you would have been there in the first place, though. Remember, the whole backstage area was off limits to people not involved with the concert. The only one who meets the conditions for a killer is the defendant. Oh, but she was her performance. I couldn't put it better myself. She does made a clear case. Oh, reading the report, something caught my eye. Oh, what's that? The circumstances of the defendant's arrest. The circumstances? Again? Hey, that's right, Apollo. Remember when we found Maki? That was bizarre. She's right. Why did Mr. Letus's body disappear from the room? And end up on top of that stage tower? Holding a guitar, no less. A perceptive observation, Judge? Oh, thanks. It was kind of an accident, really. But you work in this job long enough. You get a nose for these things. That sure seems pleased with himself. A very good Fräulein Detective. Perhaps you can tie it all together for us. Why was the body moved? And how does that lead us to the killer? They're being a little too protective of Lamiroir. Missing body. I believe Maki stole the body because of some lyrics. I want the body to match Lamiroir's song. No one in this country could have had a motive to kill the victim. And Maki practically left his signature the same. All this evidence clearly points to the defendant. Lamiroir's song? Yes, the guitar serenade. You notice it's code too, did you not? It's code? All the events that day followed the lyrics to our song. First the keys my heart held on to so tightly were stolen. Then Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flames on stage. Mr. Letus's life was taken by a bullet. The rest hardly needs explanation. The guitar, held together in the sky. That's mad. It's like a story out of some fairy tale. I admit, I've forgotten about the song. But there it is now, waiting for me. The grand finale, as it were. Hey, You know, I was the one who first noticed that. I've heard jumping rope to songs and counting to songs. But killing? It's a wild world out there, Judge. Very well. I've heard one song and dance, so let's go get on to the next, the cross-examination. So sure I'm gonna be doing much singing. Really Maki stole body and lyrics. Who would steal body just to match some lyrics? I didn't believe it myself, but it can't just be a coincidence. It is as Frelane Detective says, let us begin with the first verse. If you were the Frelane Detective. What? You want me to sing it? You are the witness, yeah? Or did you want me to sing? I warn you, my fee as vocalist is not trivial. I'm fine. Let's look at the first part of the lyrics, shall we? When you stole away the keys my heart held on to so tight. Indeed, my favorite heart-shaped keyring was stolen that morning. Next we go to the right page of the lyric sheet. Where we find burning on in my heart, fire, burn not my love away, all away. As we know, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar bursts into flame. Like a bolt of blood, fire, take my life away, all the way. Mr. Lexus's life was taken by a bullet. Bravo, Frelane Detective! Your singing is not that bad. I didn't talking, but whatever. Now for the finale. Guitar, guitar, up in the sky. As it says in the lyrics, Mr. Letus was found with a guitar high in the sky over the stage. No series of coincidences could be so well conceived. He's right. Scientifically speaking, what Wakio said, that concert was whack. I don't argue when she pours her heart into it like that. Anyway, a shooter? And the body match Lamiroir's song. Does the prosecution have any idea why he'd do all this? You want my scientific opinion? No clue. He clearly had a reason to go through all that trouble. Some deep reason. Deep reason? Not only did he steal my keys, he forged my guitar. Unforgivable acts, even if he had a reason. And worse, if he had none. The Diva's complaints aside, I can't imagine someone just doing this on a whim. Frelane Detective! I take offense to that opinion. Indeed, it does seem too well rehearsed, shall we say? Yes, this crime was planned for sure. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim. But Mr. Lacey spoke English. He may have come to this country before. I looked into that, I assure you. Oh. It was his first time in the country, it seems. Apparently, he learned English on his own. Great. You see, no one here had a motive to kill him, and certainly not in such an elaborate fashion. It does seem difficult to imagine. Unless our famous prosecutor did it as a publicity stunt. What did you say? Prosecutor Gavin, you did this to promote your song? Of course not, and I am quite dismayed by the ludicrous nature of her claim. Why would I need promotion? Everyone already listens to my music. I read my textbooks at school. I never heard of them. What does that say about me? I'm just kidding. Don't get all worked up, Glimmer Boy. And Maki practically left his signature at the scene. What do you mean by his signature? The bullet holes in the wall, of course. Bullet holes? Revolver was fired twice. One shot missed and left a hole in the wall. And that means what exactly? The dressing room isn't exactly spacious. Picture the shooter facing off with the victim in there. They can't have been more than 5 feet apart. It would have been difficult, almost impossible to miss at that range. Difficult to miss, you say? Very. Assuming the shooter could properly aim. Oh, you can't be serious. Maki! He can't see. That's what he missed? It's the only explanation that makes sense. He used sound and other senses to fire the gun. Poorly. It reminds me the monitor in that room was blurry at the time, yeah? Hardly ideal conditions for tracking by sound. A blind shooter. No wonder he missed. I knew those bullet holes would come back to haunt me! Ink Justice, what do I do now? What do I have to object with? Wait, the knockback on it, right? Because it's so heavy? Like, how would he have done it? Sure, there are bullet holes left in the wall. But that doesn't prove the shooter couldn't see. Oh, how so? Well, there could have been a struggle with the victim. That's certainly possible. And it might have been the revolver's fault. The revolver? Revolver was a very large caliber, correct? If the shooter wasn't used to firing such a large weapon, why, it could dislocate their shoulder. Exactly. The defendant, Maki Tobe, is, as you can see, tiny. It's not so hard to picture him firing the gun and missing entirely. The kickback alone would throw off his aim. Convincing argument, to be sure? Ha! Take that, smug prosecution! Apollo? Huh? What? A bit about Maki being tiny. And the gun throwing off his aim? Aren't you kind of, admitting that he did it? Oh. It doesn't matter why he missed. What matters is that the shooter was, without a doubt, defendant. Even the defense seems to agree on that point. Arrgh! Oops, I really thought I put it in this time. But let's get the facts of the matter on the record. If you would, for lane detective. Very well. Witness will add this to her testimony. Right. On the day of the crime scene, I conclude the shooter was blind.
Hold it!
You can't say he was blind just because of those bullet holes in the wall. I think I've proven that. I don't want to call it proof, per se. Huh? You have merely Larry's, possibility. Friendly detective has made a logical conjecture based upon the evidence. Of course, there is more evidence than just the bullet holes. The defendant was the only one who could have escaped through the air vents.
Objection!
But wait, if he was blind, how would he know about the air vent in the first place? Ah, a very good point. Well, Friendly detective, if you would care to explain. Certainly seems sure of himself. Recall the crime scene if you would. There was a stepladder below the air vent. As it happens, maintenance was scheduled for that day. Custodial staff went around checking all the air vents. I don't believe it. Everyone backstage was told about the maintenance, including Maki Tobe. He would have known that there would be a way out at the top of that stepladder. But that's... Why is this the first time I'm hearing about this? You could have figured it out for yourself. You only needed to consider what that stepladder was doing there. For me to examine it? It looks like the defense's objection has been squished by a stepladder. Well, air forehead. Out of ammunition, perhaps? I've never seen Prosecutor Gavin so aggressive. Maybe he's caught this in the blood. Hello! Don't you have something? Anything? You know what we need? We need something to prove the killer could see. I'll put him in his place. Even the shooter was sided would do it. Let's take down one of their central points. I have any evidence that can prove that, though. Fine. I accept the prosecution's challenge. As I knew you would, air forehead. What exactly am I up against here? Prosecution is saying the shooter missed because they couldn't see. Therefore, Maki, who is blind, did it. Defense will please present their evidence. Evidence that overturns the prosecution's claim the shooter couldn't see. I feel like it's the diagram. The room is too messy. Right? Like, the room is so messy. I'll try it. I'm not sure that overturns anything, Mr. Justice. Oh, you're on evidence, I'm guessing. Apparently both love and justice are blind. Ah! Doesn't... What do we do? We don't panic, even though Maki's case is leaking water by the gallon. Gavin's on a roll, and it's up to me to stop him. Lyrics. Oh, I'm just back here. Wait, the crime photo?
Take that!
This is that evidence. Okay, yeah, crime photo. The photograph of the crime scene. I don't care much for this American prosecutor Gavin's face. This is no time to think twice. Time to press on. Yes, Your Honor, the crime scene. There is something in here that decisively contradicts the prosecution's point. Then perhaps you'd best show us this something. Get your finger out of the breeze and put it to good use. Yeah? Very well. Show us what you're talking about, Mr. Justice. I should... It's this stuff that's, like, written on the floor?
Take that!
Yeah. Contradiction is right here. The smeared bloodstains. I thought it was just blurry. My blurry vision. But it really was blurry. The way the victim's hand is raised above his head. Much like a gesture I've seen many times in this court. Almost as if he wrote something. Aha! I get it. At least, I think I get it. It's what's Frolin. When Mr. Accuse was shot, he tried to write something. And what would he write but the shooter's name? And what would he write it in but his own blood? Pretty good, huh? Thanks for making my point for me. Yes, in fact, that's what that's what I think happened here. That does seem to be a distinct possibility. Victim had the killer's name? It's certainly a logical conclusion. Drat! I just wish it wasn't all rubbed out like that! Of course it's rubbed out. Why, if I were a killer, I certainly wouldn't want to leave my own name behind. Neither would I. No one has anything else to say? About what? The prosecution accepts this? You agree that this was the victim making an attempt to record the name of the killer? And that the killer tried to rub the name out? What's your point? What's my point? Let me ask you this. How did the killer know the victim was writing their name? Well, Mr. Accuse was writing something in blood. Once the killer saw what it was. Wait. Once he saw what it was? Oh, what did you just testify about the shooter? I said they were blind. Ah! Yet the crime scene itself contradicts that. The killer had to have been able to see. Why would they rub out the name in blood otherwise? May I remind the court that the defendant Maki Tomei is blind? He couldn't have been the shooter! Impossible! Order! 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 Prosecutor Gavin, please explain to me what all this means. I mean, looking at this photo, it seems quite clear that the shooter could see. Yet up until now, it seems I owe the court an apology. Now Gaviners are banned with law enforcement ties, yet a murder occurred. During our concerts, apparently this caused some confusion over jurisdiction. As a result, some reports were not filled in an entirely timely manner. I'm not sure I like the vibe I'm getting here. Hey Apollo, look at him. Why is Mr. Gavin all relaxed and smiley like that? Like he knows something we don't, and he's about to tell us. I've got an idea. Let's rock with these documents. But before that, I have a question for the Frolin detective, if I may. What? Tell me, why do you think that Maki Tomei is blind? Huh? What did he say? What are you saying? Of course he's blind. Of course? He is a blind pianist, right? So he's... Don't I leave him around by the hand all the time? No way. I have a report here on the defendant Maki Tomei. According to this, Maki Tomei can see it perfectly well. What? His blindness was merely a publicity ploy by those clever Burgundians. He can see you quite well.
Objection!
You said... What did I say exactly? Air forehead, not once in the course of this trial have I claimed the defendant was blind. The only one who did was Frolin detective. That's a significant fact, yes, considering Maki Tomei sees. And he was the only one who could have fled through the evidence. I see no problems with this. What about the bullet holes in the wall? Yes, the bullet holes. I believe Airflow had neatly explained those for us. He didn't miss because he couldn't see. It was a kickback from the 45 caliber revolver. A simple accident, in other words. How's that? I'm afraid your objection has just blown off for brighter skies. This is where the real fun begins, Airflow. Yarg! On that note, we're gonna call it good there. Thank you for watching. Plot twist! Thank you for watching. Thank you, Capcom Creators, for the code. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing. If you really enjoyed it, consider supporting the channel. All support greatly helps for keeping content like this and more. Links for that in the description below, along with links to me on social media. So thank you again for watching, and until next time, this is rinimt signing out.